Oh, let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate the movies. I'm your host, Jay Light. Joining me today, Ed Greer.
What's up, guys?
Oh, God. Ed, you have... This is I'm the saddest about this episode than I have been about any other episode. You hate The Dark Knight?
Okay, hate is strong, but in a world where everybody blows that movie so much, I feel like I'm a man out of time.
It seems like you are. This is kind of egregious. And I say that I've said that a handful of times, but this is the most shocked I've ever been at a take that anyone has had on my show before. What's your beef? What do you hate about it?
My beef is, I think Christopher Nolan's conception of Batman, to me in general, I don't like. If you look at the entire series, he even in the first one, which I think is the best of all of them, he gets most of his technology and all his help from other people. He doesn't really invent anything. He doesn't detect ever. He never detects anything. He detects one thing basically the whole series. He listens at a window in the first one with a unidirectional mic, like a fucking private eye or something.
Right.
And then in the second one, he reconstructs a bullet with a use of like 57 supercomputers. And to do something that doesn't even matter in the plot. You know what I mean? It's like I don't understand this conception of him being like this dude who fights crime and seems to have all this information, but we never see how he gathers any of it. And it's never dramatized in any cool way. And I know that's a super nerd complaint, but it's just like that's a big deal. And also this conception that he's always trying to make Batman quit. Like, this movie is literally him going, oh, fuck, I've been Batman for like 16 minutes. This shit sucks. I gotta
get out of here. I'm done.
Dude, I gotta stop beating the shit out of people at night and helping my city be safer. I mean, and they do see, it would be one thing if they started the movie where it's like, Batman's just a piece of shit and everybody thinks Batman's a piece of shit. No, the police are shown to not be investigating who Batman is because Batman's doing good shit. And it's shown that when the bat signal lights up, the criminals on the street, like it's a fucking play or something, that is like, oh, look, the bat signal's out. We better stop criming. It's so fucking stupid. And that scene is really stupid. And it starts with a really stupid scene of a guy about to do like a deal. And he looks up in the sky and sees the bat signal. And then the guy goes, I don't want to do the deal anymore. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, I guess you're right.
It starts with that.
So, all right. So here's how we go this. Let's do Dark Knight if you haven't seen it for whatever reason. Reminder, it's a 2008 superhero film. It's arguable. Directed and produced and co-written by Christopher Nolan. Second in the Nolan Dark Knight trilogy, sequel to Batman Begins, featuring Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Gary Oldman, Aaron Eckhart, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Morgan Freeman, and Heath Ledger in his Oscar-winning role as the Joker.
Right.
So,
and the Joker is the best part about the movie. That's
far
no doubt.
and away. That's no brainer.
Yeah. I also think, though, parts of Batman interacting with the Joker are really whack in this one. And this is still the best Joker I've ever seen in any medium. I think that's a hot take too.
Even more than, because I know a lot of people who are big Batman fans really love the animated series Joker a lot.
He's really great for that format, very much so. But for the universe that Nolan has made, where everything's got to be so realistic, and I put realistic in quotes because there's so much super unrealistic garbage in this movie.
This just happens to be like the first superhero movie. I guess. I mean, maybe there's a couple other ones before that are escaping my brain, but this is the most well-known superhero movie that took like, oh, we're gonna make this kind of gritty and realistic.
Right. And to that end, I think it fooled a lot of people into thinking that because it's talking about these like heady themes and it has like these big monologues, that it's like actually deep. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like overall, some of the main plot devices in the movie are really stupid. This conception that Batman wants to quit and needs for Harvey Dent to be the new hero of Gotham so that Batman can quit. That I reject that. I reject that wholeheartedly, and that's what he's trying to do throughout the whole movie. He's trying to stop being Batman. He says the hero of Gotham needs a face. which is kind of funny because he becomes Two-Face.
Right? Yeah.
So
Irony.
The writing of a lot of the stupid stuff that's happening is top notch, which I think is what fooled people. You know what I mean? And it has a lot of things where it's like trying to be so gritty and realistic, but it's not real. Like when Joker does that heist, a bus drives out of a hole in a bank and joins a bunch of school buses. You know what happens in a gritty real world? The bus behind it or in front of it goes, "Hey, this dusty fucking bus just pulled out of the bank." And they get on the CB and they call it in and they say, "What the fuck is this?"
Or the cops would have shown up as soon as a bus drove into a bank. Or somebody would have, that shit would have shown up on YouTube or Twitter.
You know what I mean? I just feel like, again, it's so many times that it's trying to be so realistic and that it's not realistic at all. So, like, what are you doing? If you're not being realistic in this pseudo-realism, then what are we doing? And I felt like that's why I feel like I'm in this Berenstein type of world where I'm outside of it. And I wasn't, I don't want to say I wasn't fooled by stuff because it makes it sound like I think people who like the movie are fools. That's not true. It's a very well-made thing, but it's got a bunch of stuff in it that like really doesn't make sense. It makes me pissed off about that conception of Batman. The scene where Joker is trying to basically capture the guys in the SWAT van when the SWAT van's go under the bridge and all that shit. Yeah. That scene pissed me off to no end because Batman, number one, Batman's car getting fucked up and then he just jumps on his fucking super bike.
Yeah, the motorcycle just popping out.
The point, that part is kind of cool. I'm not dissing that, but first of all, let's go back. The very first scene to me is stupid as fuck of Batman action.
Oh, Batman. I was going to say, I think the heist is stupid.
No. The heist is pretty cool. I didn't say anything about the heist.
You didn't say anything about the heist. You're
things
right.
out that did not suck.
I understand.
And there's huge swaths of this movie that do not suck and are not stupid. But the overall effect just left me cold. I was leaving The Dark Knight. And I talked to my buddy Kyle Clark about it. It was like after you see a movie with all your friends and they're just high-fiving and having all this fun, and you get this creeping, unsettling feeling that I don't know if I like this.
And is that how you felt while you were watching it for the first time, too?
I felt like, honestly, the power of the movie is that it is so engaging while you're watching it the first time that I don't think too many people were thinking a lot of the things that I thought. You know what I mean?
Right.
And some of the things that I thought I have come to them later. That is true. It's a very enthralling, engaging movie.
Yeah, and it's the first movie that I think really... It's a movie that elevates the form of what a superhero movie can do. Because it's not so much... It's everybody... The reason why I got all that awards heat and people thought it could get nominated for Best Picture was because it felt more just like a crime drama or a like Michael Mann type of movie.
Right. And the thing is, I think there are sequences in the Batman movie. I'm glad you brought up Michael Mann. There are scenes in this movie that Michael Mann could have directed a lot better. A lot better. That the sequence where like fucking the guys are meeting with the Scarecrow in the very beginning.
Yeah.
They're meeting with the Scarecrow and they're complaining about the Scarecrow's drugs and they brought dogs because dogs, I guess, fuck with the Batman. All of a sudden the dogs are like Batman's fucking weakness.
Yeah, they can bite right through the whatever plate or something. I don't know.
Oh, Jesus
in the parking garage.
Jesus fucking Christ, right?
Of course, where all drug deals go down in well-lit parking garages.
Well-lit parking garages with bunches of cameras. All right, anyway. So, like, in the parking garage, they're doing this deal, and then the fake Batman show up, and then real Batman shows up, and his car has a setting on it that says loiter, and his car has a setting on it that says intimidate. That's this gritty, real movie. This is
completely forgot about that.
So gritty and real. This fucking car jumps through the wall of a like 9 floors up. It jumps through the fucking wall. Where'd it jump from? I don't know. You know what I mean? It just jumps through the wall and has a setting for intimidate in this gritty, real movie. Okay, whatever. And then Batman proceeds to like start whooping some ass, which is pretty okay. But throughout the whole Nolan-verse canon, Batman fights like a lady in Krav Maga class or like a self-defense class where they teach you to like step on the foot and go no. I feel like his fighting style is very, it's very like you would get shot 1 billion times if you engaged everybody in this ha ha
right.
Ha. That's one guy down.
He's fighting
Ha-ta,
the way
ha.
like a rich guy would learn to fight.
It seems very much like
it's like a guy who got it's based. I mean, if you look at Batman as if you look scale back and look at the Chris Nolan universe Batman portrayal of Batman, you're right. He's not portrayed as the world's greatest detective, which is a very big aspect of Batman as a character throughout the whole rest of his.
It's like
his
a
canon.
James Bond that gets no pussy.
Yeah, that's what he is. And he like ostensibly like he gets pussy. Maybe we don't know. We never see him fucking anybody. He like when
No, I'm just saying like it's like if you came up with a James Bond take and part of it was he gets no pussy and there's no gadgets. You're just like, well, is this still Bond? Right?
Right.
And they could call it Bond all they want, and you can be sitting there as a real Bond fan going, I don't like this. And that's how I feel when I'm watching him not detect, when I'm watching him show up, and then the action sequence, like I said, we're talking about this gritty realism, right? So he starts whooping some ass, and then they jump in a van. Mm-hmm. And then he produces this fucking can opener device that's on his hand. Looks like a slap chop. That,
oh yeah,
that
and it
chops
just
through the
cuts right through.
and it doesn't do anything though because he ends up getting slammed against a pole and all fucked up. And then so he goes, I know how I'll stop this speeding vehicle. I'll drop on it from above. All right, guys, go to an overpass, jump off, and land on a Camry. Will it instantly stop? Will it instantly stop? No. It'll keep going and you'll fly off the back of it and you'll fucking die. That's what would have happened to Batman in that very first scene. In this gritty, real movie, they have him doing some moves that are so fucking... The slap chop is stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
The dog thing is garbage. Then he jumps on top of a moving van and it just stops instantly. What? That's so stupid. Does he weigh like 5 million tons? No.
If the bat suit's that heavy, how come it can't hold up dogs?
And then so he goes to Lucius Fox and he goes like, I need a bat suit where I can turn my head. Bitch, you'd be dead if you were fighting crime for like 2 or 3 years with a suit that couldn't turn your head. That's so stupid.
How long do you think he's been fighting crime for at this point?
It's got to be between 18 and 24 months at least, I think, but to develop this level of expertise. And I put expertise in quote marks.
I saw that. Those are some big quotes you just threw around. Expertise. The side eye with that expertise.
Oh my God, the slap chop jump down on the car sequence is stupid as fuck. And okay, they're making the suit turn the head thing. That's fucking stupid. Trying to put over Harvey Dent with the live long enough to become a villain, blah, blah. That whole scene where he's talking to Harvey Dent. I love those lines. They're good for what they're trying to do. But what they're trying to do is super fucking dumb. This concept that Batman can't be Batman and Harvey Dent be a motherfucker. If you're Batman and you're busting motherfuckers, you know the case is gonna stick because you got a cool ass DA that's gonna help you out.
Right,
dumbass. Is Harvey Dent gonna be stopping a motherfucker from poisoning the reservoir or blowing up the football stadium or whatever the fuck? No, stupid. This conception that Batman is so much trying to stop being Batman all the fucking time. This is the second movie. The second movie of a trilogy, and he's already trying to quit.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that.
Okay.
It's so stupid.
I can't say that you're wrong for hating that. I understand that. That makes sense to me.
And then think about what his real goal is. This is Batman's goal. Batman's goal in this movie is to stop being Batman so he can steal Harvey Dent's bitch back. You know, because that's his woman.
Right.
That's his quote unquote his woman that he knew from before, and now he's going to stop being Batman, put Harvey Dent up as a hero, take Harvey Dent's woman. So I guess Harvey Dent only has justice. You know,
right? Yeah.
You know,
he's only going to be stopping a city infested with supervillains.
Right. And another thing they set up in the movie, and I told you I got my spiel down. They set up this concept that like, and they do it very early too. Mm-hmm. I noticed it. They set up very early. All right, Dent, you're going to be the guy now. The mayor says it. Batman says it. A lot of people say it. Gordon says it, I think. Mm-hmm. You're going to be the guy now. But if they ever find any information on you that's fucked up, all these criminals are going to go back on the street. That is not fucking true.
Yeah.
That is not true, gritty, real movie.
That's not how being a DA works.
That is not how being a DA works. That is not fucking how being a DA works. Right? So that's another thing. Like this thing, so you understand what I'm saying? Like this house of cards, right?
Right.
It's built on all these stupid fallacies and slap chop hand karate. You know what I mean? It's set up on this bullshit, but it's supposed to be so gritty and real. the fuck out of here. Now, you notice I've ignored all the Joker shit. The pencil trick. Him coming in amongst all those dudes with a bunch of grenades. Him talking a bunch of shit to him.
The interrogation scene.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, boy.
But, okay, now, the worst gang security ever when the Joker infiltrates that black gang as a dead body.
Oh, yeah, and before they have tryouts.
Right, and so the guys have guns that come in there, and then the Joker guy is in the thing, and he has weapons. It's like nobody checks. God damn it. You get patted down. If you go to a club in Inglewood, you get patted down better than that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You'd be able to see the breath coming in and out of the body bag.
Jesus. I mean, I'm not even going to go that far because maybe the Joker is so cool that he can hold his breath. He's such a psycho or whatever. Whatever. But okay, now the Chinese plane sequence. Okay, dude. He goes to fucking China to get that guy, which I don't even argue against. That's actually kind of a cool story point. I stole all the gangsters' money. I went somewhere I couldn't be extradited. If I get back, it's going to set up the whole case for debt. That whole shit, I think that's tight.
Right.
I haven't said anything about how that's dumb, because that's not dumb. That's tight.
Yeah.
And so he goes over there to catch the guy. But the fucking plan, again, in an effort to be gritty and realistic, they do shit that nobody in real life would ever do. I.e., if you are on this mission to try to do all this shit, he hires like a plane. As Bruce Wayne, he hires this fucking plane to yank him out of the building.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Just he can't figure out how to. He can't figure out how to make any of this stuff himself.
He can't.
He's actually. I mean, now you really bring it up. He is really incompetent.
Dude.
He's like grossly incompetent.
Dude, Chad Wayne, just getting shit. Niggas handing him all kind of hot gear and cars and shit. And they even lampoon that in that he got so much defense contractor shit that was recognizable as shit made by the defense contracting industry. I sound like a dumbass right now. But you know what I'm saying? That made with the defense contracts that Wayne Enterprises got.
It's a Batman x Blackwater crossover.
Right, exactly.
Sweet collab, guys.
Sweet collabo. Pacifying and intimidating. So the guy goes, I recognize this vehicle. I'm going to blackmail Bruce Wayne. And then that scene where he says, so wait a minute, you think that a billionaire is beating dudes up at night and their first move is to try to blackmail this person?
Right.
I love that scene. That's super great. And that's their way of showing that, okay, we recognize this is really dumb and this has gotten out of hand. And mind you, hundreds of ninjas know Bruce Wayne is Batman from the first movie.
Right.
Hundreds of ninjas know who Bruce Wayne is from the get-go in this movie because they choose to not have him make his own training regimen with his own mind. He stumbles upon some fucking monk hut, and they teach him the ancient ways of take the pebble from my hand.
Doing his whole eat, pray, love journey, trying to find himself.
Dude, he might as well. Yeah, exactly. So the bottom line is, I feel like all that is setting up this guy who is kind of passive overall and gets dropped into these situations and gets the training almost by happenstance, gets all his gear almost by happenstance. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it sets up this world where he doesn't have enough agency for me as Batman. I just don't see it. And so it colors my perceptions of a lot of stuff, from his whack ass fighting style to the point where like that scene where he like just wades through a bunch of guys to fight the Maroni guy.
Yeah.
That comes a little later, but the bottom line is, it's always been my conception of Batman that, like, if you ever saw him from boots to the tip of his ears, he'd be dead. Because there's too many motherfuckers with guns. There's too many close quarters he's fighting dudes in. In as bad as that Batman versus Superman shit was, Batman was hell on wheels when it came to fighting and moving.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, he was at least, like, that Batman didn't abide by the sort of code that the Christopher Nolan Batman does. As far as like not being willing to take it to just go like full throttle, foot on all the way on the gas pedal with fucking people up.
Well, right. It just seems like the one in that movie, the Batman Superman movie specifically, he's skittering across the roof like a real creepy demon. It's like it's creepy and scary. There's nothing of that in this guy. This guy might as well be smoking a cigarette with one foot up on the building, like at a break, on a lunch break.
He's playing it too cool.
He's playing it like it's a normal thing. There's so many times where he's just standing around with a bunch of normal people as Batman, like that scene where he somehow magically gets in the bank. I understand he's a ninja, but you had to get past 50 fucking cops to get into the vault to talk to Commissioner Gordon. And then he disappears past 50 cops. It's like, I don't think that they're even positing that. I think they're positing he just walked up in there because he's like part of the cops. That's fucking stupid too. That's 1965 Batman with a fucking direct line that he calls the fucking, the cops call him on his fucking phone at home.
Yeah.
That's not the way it goes. He's a fucking vigilante still, right?
Right.
So which gets me to the scene where the Joker, where he captures the Chinese dude. The plan involves a bunch of people who know Bruce Wayne's identity. He crashes through a window, alerting everybody. And then he decides to have a kung fu fight with 2 guys in front of 3 or 4 guys who all have guns. That's a terrible plan.
It's like a Street Fighter sequence.
Dude, it's a terrible plan, and it's not realistic. Motherfuckers trying to harp on all this realism, all this goddamn grittiness. What is realistic or gritty about having a fist fight with 2 guys in front of 3 guys that have guns? What's gritty or realistic about that?
I got no answer for you.
Dude, I'm saying.
I got no answer for you.
I live in this other world. And so the bottom, and I'm not saying that's because I'm smart. It took me out of enjoying something that every fucking body likes because I'm looking at the shit like this. You know what I mean? So trust me, it sucks. So after that scene, we have the shit where he's trying to, where the Joker is trying to capture the guy in the thing. I'm ignoring all the rigmarole with the Commissioner Gordon dying and shit. I could take that or leave that. I don't really care.
Right.
I don't really hate it or love it. But the scene where the Joker, the bat cycle comes out of the wreckage of the tumbler, that's kind of cool. And he's driving his cycle, right? The point of a fucking motorcycle in real life is maneuverability. Nobody has a motorcycle so they can be a tank that busts through everything.
Right.
They have a motorcycle so they can whip around stuff. But because Christopher Nolan was trying to be so goddamn realistic and made it a real motorcycle that was a pretty trash motorcycle. Everybody who has ridden that motherfucker says it's a pretty trash motorcycle because it had almost no actual maneuverability. Batman is just shooting up poor people's cars. He's just blowing poor people's cars up to go on his way to capture the Joker.
Yeah.
And then he shoots bullets through the windows of a mall. Rubber bullets, whatever bullets, I don't really care. He shoots bullets through the windows of a mall to crash through it and drive his fucking stupid motorcycle through it. And then he fucking has some weird crisis. They try to make it some weird realistic crisis of conscience because Batman does not kill, at least willingly. He'll let your ass die. He did that in the first movie, but he won't literally kill you. And so the Joker's right there, and he's going to run the Joker down with his vehicle. But he, at the last moment, jerks the wheel to the right or whatever,
right,
and crashes his motorcycle and gets knocked out. I'm just going to leave that there. This is Batman. This is Batman, 7th best martial artist, best detective, 4th smartest person in the DC universe. Just iconoclastic, well-prepared monster person who will fuck you up at all costs.
Right. And
he crashed his bike and got a knock on his head.
Because he got scared. He's a scared little boy.
Oh my fucking God, dude. And people accepted that. I'm sitting up in the movie and I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying watching this shit. And so then fucking Commissioner Gordon saves him, which is kind of cool. I'll admit that part is kind of cool, even though I don't like the execution of it. Commissioner Gordon kind of saving Batman. That's kind of cool. That gives him a little boost. I like that. And then so we get to the Lucius. I don't want to talk about the Lucius phone thing, but the fact that Lucius isn't down with all the surveillance that Bruce Wayne is planning, I think that's kind of cool. That's kind of a cool point. It's like an ethical thing. They're talking about like
the cell phones and is this ethical? And it's not, but
right. And then so Gotham needs Harvey Dent, blah, blah. Oh, the Joker basically, the Harvey Dent turning crazy in like 2 scenes. Literally. He's a guy who's chilling out and he's a DA and then, he's getting kind of tense and he kind of turns himself in and this happens, that happens. And then basically a guy, some people get shot in front of him and he goes, I'm going to kidnap a guy and torture him.
Right.
To find out information. The DA, like that, decides to kidnap a guy and torture him. And then he gets his face melted off. And from that point, there's too many cooks. There's
a lot of cooks in this kitchen after this. Because then he got Two-Face. You got the Joker still running around fucking things up. And you got his, like, bevy of gang leaders who he is still sort of loyal to, but not really. He's burning all their money. And then there's all of these other plot points that just pop up. This is a very stuffed to the rafters movie full of shit.
It's stuffed, and I'm telling you, when you're watching it, the stuffing makes you go, like you're constantly shifting your focus so much that it makes it seem like this epic, beautiful, like well acted and well staged.
And there's a lot of really beautiful shots.
Right.
There's a lot of really cool set pieces.
Right.
I think that the linchpin action scenes are very cool. The heist scene is very cool. There's the stuff that chase scene with the Joker where they're chasing the SWAT van. And all
it's
that.
A great scene.
It's a cool.
It's a great scene. That's a great scene.
Even the scene where they're intercutting between the boats that have detonators on them, and one of them's all the criminals, and one of them's the civilians. Are like, oh, we got to blow each other up. They're cutting that between the stuff happening in the building.
Right.
That's cool stuff.
All that's cool stuff.
The interrogation scene.
Okay, let's talk about that.
You said you wanted to go back to that.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about
that. Okay. I'm not going to get into the fact that all of the Joker's plans couldn't have gotten together all that well or all that kind of jazz, because that's, number one, that's stupid. We're talking about a movie here, and I know everything I've said so far, but come on, at least in this reality, the Joker is basically this good at planning and shit. So I'm not fucking with that. That's great. You're putting over the excellence of a character in your movie. That's fine. There's nothing excellent about jumping off of an 8-story roof and landing on a moving car and then stopping instantly. There's nothing excellent about that. It's just stupid. But the Joker being able to do all this dope planning, I'm fine with that. What I think is stupid is this concept that, like, it was ever going to be in any way effective to have Batman in the police station beating up a suspect in front of a bunch of cops. That would be the least intimidating situation ever, because of the fact that the cops are not going to let Batman kill you right there.
Right.
The cops are not going to let Batman kill you, so what is the point? You know what I'm saying? And they showed that homeboy doesn't give a fuck about pain, which is sick. That was sick. That's a sick part of the scene. That's great. The Joker's laughing more and more as he's getting beat up and shit. He does not give a fuck. And it's very proven to Batman, no matter how many bones he breaks, he's not going to get anything. But he gives him the information because it's like, you didn't beat it out of me. Here's the situation. You know?
Right.
You're all fucked up. You know? And he gives us, and I love the fact that Homegirl gets blown up in the middle of her last words.
Yeah, that's great.
That's great.
That's great.
I'm in the movie theater after griping a little bit early, and then I see that, and I'm like, oh, Jesus. That's brutal, Nolan. Good job. You know what I mean? And Nolan is great. Memento is one of my favorite movies. I'm not trying to be one of those dudes who likes, Nirvana's first album only or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be that guy.
I love Memento. I love Dunkirk.
Yes.
Inception.
Yeah, I got some thoughts about Inception, but okay.
Everybody's got some thoughts about Inception.
yeah,
I like Inception. I still think that there's too much exposition, and that's also too complicated. But it is what it is.
Well, yeah. The only thing, my only beef with that movie is they show they show the architects being able to move all the shit and create the new reality, and that the reality responding in kind, but it only really responds with like crowds of guys with guns. You know what I mean? I just felt like if you're gonna spend $180 fucking million making that thing, I want to see like a skyscraper monster or something. You know what I mean? Or at least like the I want to see like dudes trying to rush at you and you like fold a building onto them, and then that causes a bunch more military type dudes to come. Or you know what I'm saying? Something. Spend that money. You know what I'm saying?
Sense.
I would love to see that. Anyway, okay. So so now we're getting towards the end. The first legitimate ray of light this city has seen. It's Harvey Dent. Stop it. Just fucking stop. There's nothing gritty or realistic about you talking like that, number one. I really hate the bad voice. From the first one to the third one. Everybody hates the bad voice, but a lot of people love the movie and don't think that has any part in how dumb some of the scenes are. But seeing him try to be earnest in that dumbass voice really harms some of the drama.
It does not do good. It's not a good thing.
Right.
You're right.
You know what I mean? So
the bad voice is constant. Everybody derides the bad voice, and they should. It's a dumb voice.
They should, and it should have been stopped like instantly. Like actors want to do all types of shit. I want to do this scene with a bucket on my head because I feel like I'll relate to the blah blah blah. You know, actors want to do a lot of dumb shit, and directors who are good say no. You know what I mean? So I just feel like that's a big major gaffe. But the whole Batman getting to the end, Batman being willing to take on these murders and shit so that Harvey Dent can die a hero and be like a symbol or whatever. I honestly understand the drama of it. I understand why that got over on people. I just think that's really dumb. Because again, it's like you've been trying to not be Batman. Now you've set up a situation where you kind of can't be for the wrong reasons. So like there's no Harvey Dent to come in and be in the void. And again, he does that because of the stupid ass perception that if they find that Harvey Dent killed people, that everybody he ever put away is going to get back on the street. Like instantly. That's why he does that whole thing at the end of the movie. That's so stupid. You did it for a dumb ass reason. You know what I mean? That didn't make any sense. So to have this realistic, gritty movie hinge on such ludicrous garbage, it makes me feel insane.
You know what? Maybe this movie maybe they just should have not said it was going to be realistic and gritty. Maybe that would have solved everything. I don't know.
Well, I mean, but they didn't really say it. They just showed people a conception of the character that wasn't, him doing a bunch of push-ups in the dark all the time, and and throwing. He didn't do a bunch of training montages other than the first movie about how he did all the stuff. Bottom line is they tried to show you in a trying to be realistic way how somebody could get this training, how somebody could get these materials. So that made it seem like it was a realistic thing. Mm-hmm. And to me, I would have just liked the unrealism of him tinkering in the dark and making a fucking Batmobile out of a bunch of fucking parts. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. If I had to sacrifice, if I had to sacrifice a little realism, to have some rich boy in the basement making all these hot toys, in order for everybody in the fucking world to not know his secret identity, to not have all this fucking corporate espionage bullshit be part of what he's doing, you know what I mean? To not have a lot of these things that I feel bogged the movie down with its fake pseudo-realism.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, bottom line, I really feel like also his final confrontation with the Joker is kind of, he's such a great super fighter, and then the Joker kind of holds him down with a 2x4. So he can deliver a big monologue. You know what I mean? And I get it, but just look at how stagey that is. They could do that in a play. That's like a fucking Medea play at the end.
That's true.
You're right. Know what I mean? So I just feel like there's so many of these flaws. So I feel like I hope that people can hear that, like, it is not me being super complicated. And worst movie ever. It's not the worst anything. It's fucking really good. But people say that it's like perfect. People say that it's like the greatest example of a superhero movie because of how well made it was. And I would contend that there are several Marvel movies that are as well made as that movie. I'd say 3.
Would agree with you on that.
I'd say about 3 of the Marvel movies are as well made as that.
Let's wrap it up. Let's say if you had to pick the superhero movie that people should watch and to see a perfect superhero movie that is not The Dark Knight, what's your pick? If you have to go with one.
Okay. It's got just enough fake bullshit and plot expediency and just enough like real espionage, and then it has real superhero action, and that would be The Winter Soldier.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh my god.
I missed it.
Jeez Louise. That movie, this is how I sell people who haven't seen The Winter Soldier. I say, if the Captain America from the first Avenger, the first Captain America movie, if that guy showed up in the events of Winter Soldier and tried to have that adventure, he'd get fucking killed. Like, the way that they upgrade Captain America's everything in Winter Soldier is pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. And it's what you would think a super soldier being deployed would be. When they drop Captain America on your ass, that's some real shit.
Well, I can't wait to watch that.
So yeah, anyway, like I said, dude, Batman is great. The Nolan movies did a good job of putting it in the consciousness that these things can be great. These things can be Oscar worthy. That's what they did, and they did that well. I could do with a lot. I could do without stupid fake realism
and fake grittiness.
And fake grittiness. I could do without that.
I can't argue with that. Ed, thanks for coming in today, man.
Thanks, Jay.
Where can the listeners find you on the internet?
Oh, at Ed Greer Destroys on Twitter and on Screen Junkies. It's a network on YouTube that is owned by Fandom, and they got 6 million subscribers. I'm on Screen Junkies live every Wednesday at 11. or you can watch it on a later stream. I'm on Movie Fights on there as well. And also check out my Instagram at Ed Greer Destroys on Instagram. I also have a podcast called, and my Instagram, honestly, is a bunch of fresh art. I'm a fresh artist. So, like, if you look at my Instagram, it's got a lot of fresh art that I made and a lot of advertisements for the last thing I'll plug, which is my podcast, Nerd Goat, where we have interesting people like yourself on. I'd love to have you on and to talk to you about your favorite fictional character.
I'd love to be on.
From Sherlock Holmes to Tarzan to fucking Judge Dredd, whoever the fuck.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Awesome, man.
You can find me at Diet J on Twitter and Instagram, jlightcomedy.com for show dates. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Leave a review if you like the show. Subscribe. Tell your friends. It's good times. This has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.